Yeah, buddy. So tonight I would like to talk about mistakes that noobs make. Not pointing fingers at noobs. I'm just saying there's a better way to go about it than just winging it. And that's what I'm here to kind of show you. You know, some mistakes that I made, mistakes that others made. Yeah, I've talked to a bunch of folks and they were just like, damn, man, if I would have known that in the beginning. There's a lot of things like that too. But I'm going to cover kind of the biggest ones on this video. But first, a word from the sponsor, and that sponsor's me. So I appreciate everybody, man. We're almost to 6,500 subscribers. Everybody that's subscribed, thank you so much. All of you folks in the comments, y'all are fantastic. I love the questions. I love the input. There's things that you say in there that I didn't know. And it contradicts my videos, which I love. It gives me an opportunity to make a part 2 or to correct course on the next one. And hey, I'll give you a shout out as well. And then, secondly, about 80% of you folks that watch this and find it helpful, you're not subscribed. So subscribe, like, comment. Anyway, that's it for my sponsor. Thank you, sponsor. So let's move on. So let's go into the first noob mistake. When you're brand new, it is going to force you to do certain upgrades. Okay, and those upgrades that you're gonna want to do, and you're gonna want to do it really bad just because. And the reason why I'm showing you this portion of my HQ right now, you're gonna understand that in just a second. What am I talking about? That is going to be upgrading this HQ as fast as you think you possibly can. So you're gonna do all the bare bones stuff. You're gonna do the laboratory, the Alliance Center. You're gonna do the wall if it tells you to. You're gonna do whatever it tells you, and that's okay. That's fine. Here's where it gets a little different. Here's what I want to explain to you. This wall and that first formation, super important. Keep that with your HQ level. If you watched any of the other videos, you'd know that I mention this almost all the time, but that's why I put this one first in this video. There's more to come. Your military center is also paramount. This is what gives you your troop count. More troops you have, more power you have. More power you have, stronger you are. And one of the other things that I like to keep up with the HQ are the camps. I keep these right where they need to be with the HQ. I am behind on my formation. If you notice, that's still at 24. The problem there for me was I was asked if I could rush T9s from level 24. So I did, and I had to put the formation on the back burner. Anyway, I'm at T9s. Formation's next in line. One of the other structures that I would highly recommend that you focus on is going to be this Alliance Center. This Alliance Center gives you your Alliance helps, but what it also is, it's a prerequisite for the rally square. And this is what gives you your amount of marches that you can have in your rally. So at level 25, you can get 9. So even if you're a T8 player and you've got 9 folks in your rally, you're way stronger than you are with 8, man. I'm telling you, that's a hell of a one to go up with. Another mistake too is bumping these towers up. The tower, the factory, your faction towers, let's call them that for now. Bumping those up too quick is super cheap, so it's not going to kill you. So like let's say you've got them at 15, not a big deal. Leave them at 15 for a little bit until you 5-star your first hero, because they're rather useless until you 5-star a hero. Then you can put the hero in the hall. And then you can upgrade the hero from there and get those buffs. So not really important to rush that super quickly. If I were you, I would get to T8s. Let's say T8s, and then bump these up to 20. Because by the time you get to T8s, if you're doing these other structures, like I said, you should definitely have some 5-stars to throw in there at that point. All of the rest of it, your Alliance Center, your HQ is going to kind of force you into. It's going to have you do the labs. It's going to tell you, at a certain level to upgrade the Alliance Center. I mean, it's going to kind of help you walk through that. But these are just outside of what it's telling you that I'm saying is going to be super helpful. So wall, camps, formation 1, military center. I hope it wouldn't hurt to keep up with the hospitals. I mean, hell, even both level 2 or level 22 hospitals are really good. That's especially on EB day when you get that hospital buff and there's like double the room in there. I mean, that's great. You don't want to have soldiers dying because your hospital's full. Now, let's talk about another thing that a lot of people get their head wrapped around is the tank. You're going to start out with a little yellow Jeep, and that little yellow Jeep is quickly going to turn into a cheetah. And once it's at a cheetah, you're going to start upgrading the shit out of that. Now, by the time you get there, you might need to be a little cognizant that Versus is going to start. And your first day of Versus is all about that tank and some radar stuff, man. So kind of be of mind when your Versus event's going to start, so you can have blueprints and wrenches and things like that saved up. So try not to run too fast through that tank. Take it at a moderate rate. I couldn't tell you what that actually looks like, because I don't know. I rushed the ever-living shit out of that thing, and I regret it, because it costs money to get to the Hercules at a level 25 HQ. That was not necessary. The tank is just a skin. Even with my tank sitting where it's at, with 4.8 million power, I'm at level 105 on the mods. I have components set up, I have chips set up. Even with where it's at, someone with a cheetah, with better components and better chips, gonna beat me all over the place. Now, let's talk about the detail of that tank. That tank is only as good as your first formation. That's it. It's just, I mean, if I put this formation in a cheetah, it's gonna wreck shop. There's just no doubt about it. So that's gonna lead me into the next one. I'll recap that section real quick. Don't rush to the Hercules. That is paramount. Just don't do it. It is a waste of resources. It's a waste of Versus points if you're just hitting the upgrades every day. Get your Versus points, okay? The second thing on top of that is the heroes. So this is the hardest part for a fresh player to figure out, because you're going to have to unlock all of these things first of all, okay? And there's really no good way to unlock them for you, per se. You have to figure out your faction early on. And full disclosure, the game is going to give you blood rows almost predominantly early on. You might get a wings here and a guard there, but you're not going to be able to do a wings march right off the bat. And if you do have that capability, if I'm wrong in that sense, definitely go wings, because all the people around you are probably going to go blood rows, because those are so easy to unlock. But for this example, let's go with blood rows. You have to figure out which ones you're going to try to fight to unlock. So that means going through your tickets, your recruitment tickets, and just hoping for the best. That also means certain events. So your full preparedness, which I'll show you here. Full preparedness is going to give you fragments. You're going to get the books. You're going to get fragments out of the chest at the top. So these fragments can help you unlock a hero, or not unlock it, but it can help you upgrade the hero. So just being mindful of where you want to go with that hero setup. Now, for free to play, if you're 100% not going to spend a penny on this game, this gets a little bit more difficult for you. You will eventually unlock Katrina. You will most likely unlock Laura. Eventually, you would get Amelia. So these are all good, right? And they're kind of matching too. So you got 2 Wings of Dawn right there that you got free. And then you're going to get Mia. That's a guard. So let's say you've got Katrina. You've got Laura, Mia, and Amelia. First of all, Katrina and Mia are super helpful for your HQ. Katrina is going to give you fuel, and Mia is going to give you tanks, blueprints. So super helpful there, right? Increasing damage, free modification blueprints. So, man, I would say if you're going after an orange hero, try to shoot for Katrina and Mia first. I think those are great. And then from there, you can start building up your march with a combination of orange and purples. And I'll be honest with you, right at the very beginning, when you're trying to build your first formation, you get what you get, and you're going to have to work with it. Just be mindful, like, do you want to, like, 4-star something that, you know, is, like, don't 4-star any of these down here. That's just don't put, you know, loose fragments into this like super mid early. Like, you're gonna have to do some of it, you know, at the very beginning of the game. And I know this is probably hard to follow. What I'm saying is, you'll get all this stuff later on these blue heroes here. But you're going to want to focus on these purples a little bit more. Okay, you're going to want to focus on the orange ones that you get as soon as you get them, and try to start building those folks up, and just build your first formation up. Again, like I said, super difficult to do 100% free to play, but it is doable. You just have to grind a little bit harder, and it's going to take just a little bit longer. That's the only difference. Now, going from the heroes, let's talk about the calendar events. So full preparedness, this is going to change several times a day. And you can see what it is in the calendar up top, right here. It'll tell you when it's going to change and what it's going to be. So be mindful of that, and don't waste your stuff throughout the day. If you're planning on spending every day, even if it's just the dollar packs, spend at the right time, because you won't always have enough to complete all three of these chests in every one of the events for this. I mean, there's a lot. Even I'm missing them now, and I do spend, and you can see I'm rank 7 at the moment. So just be mindful of that if you're going to buy a pack and you don't have, like, let's say in this scenario, I'm out of research speed ups because I used them all this morning for verses. So I'm not getting any points from that. But what I will be doing is I'm going to go in and buy a pack in just a little bit, and that's going to bump me up to the chest, the third chest, and I'll be good. However, I've already opened the third chest at the top, so I don't need to spend the money on this. I'll just save it until reset, and then, you know, buy the pack there if I don't have enough of my own resources to make it through this. Canyon Clash is going to open up for you, I don't know, man, maybe around day 25-ish, 30-ish, somewhere in there. You want to make sure you're watching the videos that I put up on this, along with the actual strategy video. That is going to help you win, because you're going to go up against people that are in your same age group, if you will, for your server. And hopefully, you know, you're lucky and they're not watching the vids and they're not subscribed, and you'll have that leg up on them and you're going to whoop that ass. So give those vids a watch. This winning Canyon Clash comes with such great rewards, man. They're fantastic. I mean, this is just awesome stuff that you're getting through here. The amount of Valor medals that you get as well, getting those points increased, that is nuts, right? Getting like 15,000 Valor medals. You're able to go through and buy your first piece of gold equipment. That's why Canyon Clash is so important. You can get your first piece of gold equipment out of your glory shop here. So it's 15,000 medals. That's it. And then you also have the fragments and power cores. Once you get your first piece of gold equipment, you're going to want to start investing in the power cores. These power cores are fantastic. And look, I can buy a couple of more now. I have some Valor medals. There we go. Let's buy those. Okay. So super helpful if you're getting the gold gear from your Valor medals. Also a free-to-play thing that you can do. Zombie Siege as well. I've got 2 videos on that. One was me being kind of new. The second one was based on some comments from older players in the game. So we kind of corrected course on that just a little bit, but not too much. It just went a little bit more into detail. So give those a watch and it'll explain to you. But the great rewards from Zombie Siege, also free to play. Tyrant, don't miss it. 200 and some odd, well, for me, it's 250 power cores. I think at the beginning you're getting like 190, depending upon your level. So anyway, I mean, that's a lot, and it stacks up. Make sure you're in Tyrant. Best way to do Tyrant is to take all 3 of your marches and join a rally. If there's not enough rallies going, start 1. Start 2 if you have to try to get as many rallies from your alliance as you can. Fury Lord, I think you guys are familiar with that. Knock out every one of them so you can get this bottom row of rewards right here. Free to play, baby. Easy peasy. And then the danger lurks. This is running boomers. Run all the boomers. Actually, you only have to run 5 yourself, but you have to have 30 total. I would recommend running about 10 yourself every day if you have the fuel to allow it, to get these rewards down here. There's 200 badges in that you're going to be able to use for tech. So free to play, awesome stuff. going into more free-to-play stuff for the hot events, there's a little bit that's free to play in here. Like, for example, we've got Lucky Chest open. I can get the pack at the top for free and get one spin out of that. There's a lot of this stuff that's, yes, sure, like this Warrior Battle Pass, sure, I can get this whole row on the left side free, which if you're free to play, that's really good rewards. Just make sure you're making it through this thing and doing the daily and regular task on it. However, if you can afford the $20, look at all the stuff you're getting off the right-hand side. So just throwing that out there, if you are free to play or a small spender, you're going to be dropping maybe, as a spender, I would say this thing shows up maybe once, twice a month. So it's not a huge expenditure. All right, more free to play. Camilla's Shop. If you guys haven't done that, you're just getting these, and you're exchanging that for gifts. And you really don't have to spend to do that. You're going to get it anyway. And this is, obviously I'm doing really horrible at this to collect these, but I could still gather world resources, but meh. And I don't want to do creeps because I've already gotten all of the fragments out of there, so I'm good, man. This typically costs $1, but you get fantastic stuff. Look at that. That's 300 power core, 100 power core, 300 badges, 5 fragments. So $1 a day gets you to the next level. So that's $30 in a month. If you're a low spender, that's a good buy, in my opinion. If you're free to play, this may not be your boat. And then on to, this shows up every week. You can choose what you want to buy to get instantly. If you don't buy this, it ranges anywhere from $5 to $50. If you don't buy it, you get everything on the left-hand side, which in this case is construction speed-ups. I think we all need that. And this is going to bring me, those speed-ups bring me to the last thing that I'm going to talk about for noob mistakes. I will read that later. Why did I click that? Habit. Okay, the warehouse. A lot of folks go through and they just start wiping out everything they've got in here for heroes, everything they have for equipment, their resources especially. And then speed ups, that's okay to use the speed ups here and there, but you're getting points in versus events for those. So if you have versus coming up, try not to use any speed ups until you're at that. Now, the caveat to that is the preparation. If you're in preparation and it requires some speed ups, knock some out, but just do the bare minimum to get you where you need to be. Let's say you have a 2-day long build and you only needed to use 15 hours worth of speed ups to get the whole thing done. Try to use your speed ups strategically. The resources in the warehouse, this is actually detrimental if you use it all. You can't heal if you get burned because they stole all your resources. You're not going to be able to train troops. There's just so many things wrong with using this up 100%. Try to keep a large amount of resources in your warehouse because nobody can steal that from you. What they can do, though, is if you open them up, is they can steal them from you then. So just be mindful of that. Don't deplete the warehouse. Now, equipment, this is what it is. Once you get your equipment, you can start upgrading it. Yes, there is a portion of versus that when you use the enhancement alloys, the power cores, it does give you points for that. When you're early game, man, just go for it. If you get some purple gear, start upgrading that thing and enhancing it. Just get it as high as you can. Try to get the leg up on the folks that you're fighting. Your hero stuff, there is a part of full preparation that uses EXP as one of the metrics. So you can keep some EXP in here if you want. Otherwise, mid-early game is what I call it. Like when your versus events start opening up for you, you need to start saving this stuff until hero day. Don't use it. You can use the EXP almost all the time. So a mistake that I see a lot of folks make is they deplete everything, including their fuel, man. You got to be careful with fuel. You can't even attack somebody if you don't have any of that. So, be mindful of your fuel. Don't zero your fuel out just on boomers because you have it right there. You want to start saving some of it. So use your daily fuel. And you can check that here. It shows you what your fuel's at, right? So like I have 193 out of 150. I'll probably use 80% of that on radar and boomers. The rest of it, I'm just going to keep and let it build up. And then Katrina's going to give me some fuel. So, I'll have some from there. So, again, just mistakes that I've seen people make. We have players now that are almost 200 million power that just don't have fuel anymore because they're out looting all the time and not being mindful of the fuel because they're trying to rush their HQ to 30. They're still in that HQ rush. So they had to backtrack a little bit after seeing some of the videos and watching some of the things, that I was trying to show some folks in Enemy Buster once. They saw that and they go, man, how are you not being burned? And well, I covered that in the beginning. Wall, formation, military center, and then the HQ level and the heroes. These are all things that you got to be thinking of. You don't want to just start the game out and be like, man, I'm going to be HQ 27 in a month. If you do that, you'll be HQ 27, but you're going to be weak sauce, man. You'll be able to be burned by somebody that's a HQ 20, has T7 troops. They'll burn you down no problem because you've neglected your wall, you've neglected your formation, and most likely your heroes are probably not up to par to match a T9 player, or you've rushed to HQ 27 and didn't do the camps properly, so you still can't get T9. So there's a lot of things to think about when you're going through it. And I'm hoping you guys watch this that are especially new and get a little insight and some help to guide you along the way, because let's be honest, there's no literature in this game to help you through that stuff. So the trial and error of the others, I think, is paramount, and it's gonna help you tremendously in growing your account. You'll be a TVT beast out there before you know it. So if this helps, let me know in the comments, man. If you guys think of anything I missed, put it in the comments so other people can read it. And again, make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.